My name is Tuan Nguyen. In this video, I will be discussing the design decisions in my infographic on Harry Potter's global popularity. I chose Harry Potter because the series truly spread the spirit of magic to children all over the world. On the right is an overview of my final infographic. To start with, I will be analyzing the 5 forms of visual potentials. The visual potential of appearance uses images, shapes, and color to showcase how something looks. For the illustrations of Harry Potter characters, I outlined their silhouettes and used thin lines and solid fill to add details. I incorporated recognizable items to help viewers connect the illustration to the associated characters. For example, Harry has his infamous glasses and scar, Hermione has her book and wand, while Joffrey has his sock. I incorporated some of the graphic elements in my visual language model next to my appearance display to demonstrate that I followed the model's level of detail and line treatment. The items in the book match the model's simplified icons. The broom's brush matched the busy lines detail of the wheel. The icons of the characters for the relationship display have more interior details such as the facial expression. This style departs from my model, but I learned from my critiques that viewers needed more details to recognize the characters. All of the details and props that I added still match the level of realism of the model. A relationship display has the visual potential to express the connections between people or things using overlaps, lines, and color. For my display, I use lines to convey the different type of association based on the character's connection to Harry Potter. Each type of relationship is grouped by a light blue rectangle that overlaps the background and has a text description. To show who the heroes and villains are, I align the good characters to the right and the bad characters to the left. I color-coded the evil characters using dark blue and yellow for the good characters. This does a good job of encoding more relationship information without adding more lines. The visual potentials of numbers can answer the question of how much by displaying the amount, numbers, and size of things. In my display, I exploited the potential of numbers through the use of amount and color. Each glasses represent $100 million. I arranged the 9 glasses to be evenly layered so I could highlight the white $300 million against the overall $900 million. I decided against inputting each of the movie's revenue through a bar chart, even though the bar chart will show individualized data as opposed to generalized earnings, because I want to emulate the short burst of information style that my visual language model used. In the model, only big numbers and impact statements without much detailing are displayed. The visual potential of time can be used to show when events occurred in chronological order or over certain time periods. I exploited this visual potential by conveying the order of book publications through the span of 10 years. Each box has a giant year labeled in golden letters and an icon that represents the plot of the reference book. Since my model didn't have a timeline to emulate, I mimicked the motions, line weight, and layout of the dashed lines. The dashed lines in my display has a zigzag motion that guides the viewers from top to bottom. In addition, none of the graphic elements align horizontally, but are stacked diagonally to help with the top-bottom read-through. Location as a form of visual potential can help viewers identify where things are. For my location display, I conveyed the global reach of Harry Potter's exhibition in the order they occurred in by positioning the exhibition sites as open circles on a world map. Since my visual language model doesn't have a map, I kept the map very plain and illustrative, like a Big Bell illustration. The open circles identify the geographic location of the 17 cities that have hosted exhibitions. I labeled the continents in white and used dashed leading lines to guide the viewers to the city names. I used the color yellow to emphasize the open circles and the city names against the dark background. Encoding clarity for the viewers by transforming hard-to-consume data into easily digestible visual elements. Color encoding is used for the relationship display to show the different types of characters. Line treatment is used to show the direction of the relationship from Harry to another character. The numbers display has an isotype chart and color encoding because money is conveyed by the amount of glasses. White represent US earning, while yellow represent worldwide. If I had gone with a bar chart, I could have used height and width to show the earnings across multiple books. The time display uses positions and line treatment to encode the order of book publications. My location display has line treatment encoding to guide the viewers from the position of the circle to the city label. Next, I will go over how I emulated my color model. The color harmony is split complementary because my model used yellow and navy, which are across each other on the color wheel. There is also an addition of white, but is used sparingly. I kept my infographics color proportional to the models in terms of amount and order. The color palette has a lot of contrast, which convey energy. The background shades of navy blue set a calming tone, while the yellow add boldness. The energetic tone is appropriate for the magic and youthfulness in the Harry Potter series. Yellow is the main highlight color, while white is the secondary to emphasize certain icons, bars, and text. On dark navy background, yellow is a positive color and often adds a hint of brightness, while white sections act as separation of topic. I use color encoding for my relationship display. Yellow highlighted the good characters, while navy is used for the evil characters. On the yellow background, navy is an outlining color and is very neutral. All 5 colors are used for graphic elements and text, but yellow is never used for text against a white background because there's not enough contrast. The colors do not have a direct association with any specific concept. As for typography, I couldn't find the exact typefaces that my model had used, but I chose 3 typefaces that are extremely similar in terms of tones: Europa, Sue Ellen Francisco, and Herr von Muehlhoff. Europa is used most often and convey a practical tone. Sue Ellen Francisco is playful, while the last typeface is elegant. All of the texts are capitalized. I am using proximity and pointers as association strategies to link the labels and with the graphic elements that they're labeling. In my map display, I am using precision labels to specify what city the circle represents. I am not using any identity labels, but I could have used them in my relationship display to show what type of relationship the line represents. Body text is used to expand on the section heading. No annotation is used to clarify any graphic elements. The visual language of my infographic uses rectangular shapes to set boundaries for topics and sections. I emulated my model's use of shapes for grouping items. Circles are used for icon. My model has circular whale icons, which I emulated for my relationship display. Aside from those 2 shapes, there are no other complex shapes. For line treatment, the dashed lines are used to direct the flow of information. I use the dashed lines for my timeline to direct the reading flow. Thick bracketed lines are used to emphasize certain headings. Free-flowing lines are used to separate the header and the footer. No textures is used, but solid fill is used for the text and graphic elements. Illustrations are realistic, but have a little bit of detailing. I emulated the level of realism for my appearance display of the characters. Icons are mostly simplistic and not abstract. Visual hierarchy is used to direct the observer's eyes towards important and engaging content through the use of size, position, and color. Within my infographic, each section has a similar sense of importance, but there are overlapping character illustrations to prevent the design from being boring. I created hierarchy through color. Yellow draws more attention than navy, so I use yellow for my main title section to start the viewers at the top. The background color of each section alternate between dark and light, so the viewers can see the separation of topic and not get lost by the illustrations. There are 3 large sections, but within each section there are smaller rectangles that group the text in an orderly fashion. In my numbers and timeline display, the text is grouped in a downward flow with a left to right read-through. The lighter blue boxes make the text noticeable. The appearance display gather information, but they are not large and do not make everything else blend into the background. Unity occurs when all of the design elements exist in harmony with each other. My infographic follows the unity in my color model because there are only 2 shades of blue that repeats throughout the infographic, with yellow and white as the accent color. My visual language model has illustrations of whale that evoke a fun feeling, which I replicated with the Harry Potter character illustration. I also outlined all of my graphic elements to make sure they look like they belong in the same visual category as the whale. I use the same line weights for the dashed lines in the display. Variety is created by using different elements to get the viewer's attention and keep their interest. My typography model has a lot of variety because each typeface has its own tone, and I replicated that in my text. Although there are a lot of tones, I kept the unity effect by repeating Europa for the titles and captions. I played with illustration like the castle, wands, and broom to add variety because there are already a lot of simple rectangles. This is very similar to how my visual language model uses illustration of whales and harpoons to overlap the text boxes. My layout model has 3 distinct large sections based on horizontal lines, so I broke down my information into thirds. The first and second sections are very similar in size. My relationship display take up the space of the first section. I arranged the light navy rectangles to be similar in size so they look grouped together. For the second section, I arranged the numbers displayed on the left and the timeline display on the right. This alignment helped group the information because it divides the 2 topics apart. I ended with the map because it is the largest visual element. The stacked arrangement of each display guides the reader downward while helping them read from left to right. The layout model also has a header and footer section, which I emulated in terms of space. I departed from my model by using background color to separate sections instead of lines because this matched my visual language model better. Alignment is a concept that helps the infographic seem completed and give the content elements a cohesive finish. Text is aligned to the left, but titles, section headings, and caption can be centered aligned. Larger display are centered aligned, while smaller display are aligned to the left and right side of the infographic. The two smaller display are aligned to the side to create an illustration of an invisible line, which separates the topic. My infographic follows the exact alignment of my visual language model and layout model by having a clear grouping of text and illustration. Finally, here's my infographic with all of the models that I use. My infographic follows the layout model very well because information is oriented vertically and each section is easily recognizable from a top to bottom direction. I am very consistent about emulating my color scheme and typography model. I am not 100% satisfied with how I emulated my visual language model. I departed by using detailed icons and didn't use lines for my character illustration that it will have. However, I did keep in mind the fun tone and level of realism that the model conveyed for each display, and only made changes that will help the viewers recognize the topic.